In the second example of round robin algorithm, you can see the arrival time is also mentioned. And as usual, the burst time are also given for the total 5 number of processes. The given quantum is 2, is a 2 millisecond. Now while solving this example, you have to consider the arrival time as well as the burst time both. Now let us look at the Gantt chart. In the Gantt chart, you can see here the arrival time of P1 is 1 second, but the burst time is quite larger as compared to other process. Process P2, the arrival time is 0 millisecond and the burst time is 3 millisecond. And the arrival time of P5 is very late, that is a 30 millisecond. So it means the P1 to P4 processes will get a more time for the execution. So now let us look at the Gantt chart. As you can see in the example, P2 has arrived first, that is at the 0 millisecond, so P2 will get the first position. In the given quantum, P2 is trying to finish its execution, but still at 2 seconds, P2 has to stop its execution and 1 second more it required. So P2 will take that 1 second later. So P2 will finish its execution for the 1 second later on. After 2 seconds, the P1 will arrive because the arrival time of P1 is 1 millisecond. So P1 will also try to complete its execution or the burst in the given quantum, that is 2 millisecond. But P1 is failed because P1 requires a largest burst time, that is a 5 millisecond. So P1 is finishes its execution only up to 2 millisecond. So P1 still need 3 more millisecond to complete its execution. Now the turn comes of P3. P3 requires 2 millisecond for a burst and the arrival is 2 millisecond. So even P3 will take a 2 millisecond for the burst. But P3 is lucky enough that P3 can complete its execution within 2 millisecond because the required burst time for P3 is 2 millisecond itself. Now the turn comes of P4. The P4 also couldn't complete its execution because the burst time of P4 is the 4 milliseconds. So P4 has taken only out of the 4 millisecond, P4 took only 2 millisecond to complete half of the execution. Now the next turn comes again of P2. Next turn comes again of P2. P2 will utilize that pending 1 millisecond to complete its execution and it will terminate. So P2 will complete the execution at this position. So already it has utilized the 2 millisecond and rest of the 1 millisecond it has completed over here. Now again the next turn comes of P1 again, because as we can see the burst time of P1 is quite larger as compared to the other processes. So P1 has already utilized 2 millisecond. Now it is going to utilize the next 2 milliseconds, right? So total 4 millisecond it has been utilized by P1, but still 1 more second required by P1 to finish its execution. But now the quantum turn will goes to the next process, that is P4, next process of P4, because you can see in the chart the required burst time for P4 is 4 millisecond and P4 has utilized 2 millisecond out of it. So now only 2 millisecond more required by P4. So P4 will utilize that 2 millisecond over here and it will finish its execution. Now here P3, then there is P2 and P4 has completed their execution. But P1 is still pending. P1 is still pending and also P5. So let the P1 will come first, because P1 require only how many more seconds? 1 more second it requires. So P1 will arrive again, and it will restart its execution for 1 second. So at the 14th second, P1 will finish its execution and it will terminate. And at the end, the P5 will arrive, and P5 takes 2 second, that is a 2 quantum, because the burst time is also the same with equal to a given quantum. So burst time of P5 and the given quantum is same. So P5 will finish the execution in the given quantum at the 16 second. So this is how the Gantt chart I have drawn. Now let us go for the calculation of the waiting time. So the calculation of waiting time, you can see here. With the same formula, I have calculated the waiting time. That is waiting time equal to start time minus arrival time plus new start time minus old finish time. So with the help of that formula, I have calculated the waiting time for each process. So you can just put the values from the given Gantt chart and you can derive the waiting time for each process. And this is how I have calculated the waiting time of average waiting time for all the process. Same you can consider with the turnaround times. Now for the turnaround time, while calculating the turnaround time, you have to be careful that the arrival time is given over here. Arrival time is given. So we have to use that formula, that is a finish time minus arrival time. Finish time minus arrival time. So you have to consider the latest finish time of each process. So as far as P1 process is concerned, the latest finish time of P1 is 14. So the 14 minus 1. So that comes 13. So 14 minus 1. So that comes 13. So you can see here, I have determined the turnaround time for each process. I have maintained a separate table. So process and their turnaround time. So with on the basis of that Gantt chart, I have derived it. And the same way, you can calculate the average turnaround time also, as I have calculated average waiting time. Okay, so I hope this example of round robin algorithm must have understood to you.